Hi everyone, my name is Melanie, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself today. My full name is Melanie Cherie Fallon. I'm 27 years old, and I was born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. From the age of 5 until 10 years old, I attended a private Christian school. Upon entering middle school, I began my education with the Baltimore County Public School System and continued my education with the Baltimore County Public School System until the year 2000 when I graduated from Western School of Technology and Environmental Science in Catonsville, Maryland. In the fall of 2000, I enrolled at the Community College of Baltimore County with no real drive and undecided about what I wanted to do with my life. After taking classes there for the first semester, I developed an interest in psychology. I decided to pursue that interest, and for the next 2 years, I took classes at the Community College of Baltimore County towards my goal of becoming a psychologist. After about 2 years, I became bored with college life and decided that I would enter the workforce. I worked for the next 4 years until in the summer of 2006, I found out that I was pregnant with my now 2-year-old son. I had no idea how difficult my life had just become. During my pregnancy, I was faced with many complications and countless hospitalizations. I was unable to work and unable to provide for myself at the time. Luckily, I had the support of my family and my friends. And in February 2007, 3 weeks before his actual due date, my son decided that he'd walk into the world. So, unfortunately, I wasn't even awake for my son's birth as I had to have an emergency C-section. When I awoke, I was so happy and I felt so blessed to have my son in my life. I was surrounded by the same family and friends who had been there with me this whole entire time. Sadly, there was one friend that I hadn't told. I was so scared that I disappointed him by having a baby at this point in my life that I didn't tell him. I felt like he had high aspirations for me and that somehow I'd let him down. But before I could get the chance to tell him, he passed away. The summer of 2007 was a changing point in my life. My friend had grown up in the streets, a victim of the foster care system, and not being nurtured enough by that system. I felt that maybe I could have done something to save him, but now it was too late. So, I tried to find a way to direct my energy towards helping others who were like him. I decided that I would return to school and pursue my goal of becoming a psychologist and work with underprivileged youth. I knew that in order to do this, I had to get back in school immediately. So I enrolled again at the Community College of Baltimore County as I knew that they had a single mother's program. The program took care of my tuition and books for my first semester back at school. While I had a hunger for knowledge that I'd never had before, I found commuting to and from campus and going back and forth from class to class to be very difficult with a newborn. There was even one time where I was so embarrassed that I had to take my newborn to school with me and gather my work from my teacher and turn it into her without attending class for that day. After that, I realized I had to find a more flexible option for me to pursue my education. My mother told me about the UMUC Online Studies program. She was already a student there, and she was finding it was very easy to balance her school life, full work schedule, and family life. So I decided that I would at least look into it. I examined the website and called and ordered the brochures and took a look over them before finally deciding that I would at least give it a try. My first semester at UMUC was different for me. As I was used to being online, I wasn't used to logging in to talk to my classmates and my professor that way. I thought it would take way more dedication than what I had at the time. But I took 3 classes my first semester and I was successful and maintained an A grade point average for that semester. I'm happy to say that I'm in my 3rd semester at UMUC and still doing well. My mother, in May of 2009, walked across the stage and graduated with her Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration from UMUC. I was so proud of her, but more so I was so inspired to keep doing what I had to do so that I would one day walk across that same stage. I continue to be inspired by the example that my mother has set and also by the memory of my friend. I also hope that I can set a great example for my son in the same way. Thank you, and I hope you all have had a great time getting to know me a little better.